Hello,
Mike?
it is.
Hi, I'm Elena from Greece.
Hey, Elena, how are you?
I'm fine. How are you?
I'm very well, thank you.
Allied Forces, big album. Tell us some things about the box set.
Well, the box set's really cool. It's first box set Triumph's ever done, so that's kind of a milestone for us. After all these years, I can't figure out why we never did one, but we're doing one now, so that's a good thing. Um, the box is really cool. There's a picture disc of the original Allied forces um, in the box. There is a double gatefold album, two discs of a live show we did on the Allied Forces tour in Cleveland, Ohio. And there is a 7-inch vinyl with a couple of unreleased, one kind of newish track, not done by Triumph. It's a tribute 45, our PM single. There's a beautiful poster, it's a tour poster in it. There's a retro original Allied Forces tour book. There is also another 12 by 12 book, basically. Looks like a tour book, only it's bigger and better, that describes the Allied Forces tour, the album. There's an essay written of interviews of each of us by a very, very good writer. Pictures that no one's ever seen before, including us. I don't know where they came from. There's an original backstage pass, and a couple other things I can't remember actually.
Okay. And Mike, Allied Forces was your most successful album. Any memories of that period and how do you dealt with this success?
Um, that was a really good album for us. It certainly has been over time our best-selling album. It was uh, it was fun to make, and I think it reflects in the music itself. That a lot of times you struggle making albums, and we didn't have many struggles on the Allied Forces album. It's kind of not that it was easy, mind you, but we weren't throwing darts at each other, kind of thing. We were in pretty much agreement on which direction we were heading. So that was it was very cool, and it really, in North America, it kind of solidified the band, and perhaps around the world too, as a contender for the, you know, being one of the elite rock groups in North America. It really broke us wide open from a touring and record sales and a fan appreciation, all that point of view.
I see. And how do you feel of being Record Stores Day ambassador this year?
That's really quite an honor. We all grew up going to record stores, and over the years, the last 5, 6, 7, 8 years, the record stores seem to be disappearing. And it's very hard, other than sometimes on Amazon, to find anything. And but the independent stores that have stayed open have have struggled, but found a really good niche in selling vinyl, which has really become a major source of revenue for them to be able to even stay open and service their customers. So we're doing what we can. This is our way of saying thank you to the record stores that have stayed around and struggled, but still can service the rock fans that want to purchase vinyl. And it seems like there's a lot of them now. I was quite amazed how big Record Store Day was and how many independent stores there are all over the world.
Exactly, exactly what I want to ask. If you could compare the music industry now with the music industry, let's say 30 years ago, how how do you think it has changed through the years?
Um, phew. It's not the same industry that I grew up in, where the Triumph existed in. It's changed so dramatically that I just thank my lucky stars that I don't have to survive in today's music industry. And we were around where it was really hard work, but you were given what I'd call, you were given time to develop. Nowadays, if you make a record and, if it's not a hit in 3 weeks, the record company drops you from the label. And, so you get no time to develop. And it's with all record labels back in our time, artist development was the key thing. You didn't have to have a huge hit album or a huge hit single on your first go-around, on your first album. You were given time to develop. And without that time, none of the acts would have developed, from Triumph to Van Halen to Journey to you name it. They wouldn't have had a chance, because first albums were very seldom, really big records.
Do you miss these years?
Yeah. Yes and no. I don't miss all the traveling. I don't miss being on the road. I don't miss not seeing my family. There's a lot of things I don't miss. What I do miss is Mike, Rick, and Gil out there on stage performing to amazing fans that we developed over the years. An arena full of 15,000 people just, going crazy right along with us. So that particular image, is ingrained in my mind forever, because it was the best part of being on the road, is the moment you stepped on stage at night. The rest of it was kind of nothing but grunt work, So that's what I miss the most.
Your fans, despite the fact that the band was away for many years, they are still there and support you. How do you feel about that?
I think, Triumph had the best fans in the world. Our fans were loyal. They stuck with us through thick and thin. If we made an average record, it didn't matter to them. They were there for the band. They'd come right out to see you play. They just were the best. That's all I can tell you. I'm sure most bands say that their fans were the greatest, but our fans were a lot better than anybody else's fans. That's what I'm saying.
What about the live performances? I mean, you were a band that stood out for your energy. Do you miss this contact with your fans?
Yeah, that was our way of communicating. That's when you got to see their faces. That's when you got to have everybody clapping their hands together, or yelling together, or rolling around in the aisles, or throwing up on each other because they were too drunk. But the overall impact of what Triumph meant to those fans was incredible, and we sure do miss them. But we stay in touch. It's amazing with all the social media and that goes on. We have very active fan groups that are administered and we pay attention to. So it's kind of interesting, the stories that come out, or the pictures that we get sent, and from the very first days of the band, even and what we meant to the fans.
What about the documentary?
That's last report I had is that they are just putting the credits in right now, and it'll be ready to go. So we're looking at perhaps a fall release on the documentary at this stage of the game. It would be depending on who the distributor ends up being on it. But yeah, we're really proud of that. The film turned out beautifully. It's really a great story. It'll make you laugh, make you cry. It's very educational, emotional, and fun.
How do you feel of being part in this project? I mean, make a film, it's like a fish out of water for you, I guess.
Yeah, it's the film was a very unique experience. However, the producers and directors and the guys that did the film is a company called Banger Films, who did they're the gold standard of rock documentary producers. Then Iron Maiden, ZZ Top, Alice Cooper. If you want a documentary, those are the guys that do the best job. So really, we just had to show up and, to be interviewed now and then look at some footage that might have been controversial and did we really want it in the film or not. But other than that, it wasn't really a big deal to be in the film business because we weren't really in the film business. The film company is in the film business. There was just a film about us.
Mike, I have to ask, any plans for the future?
Not really. It's like we're at the stage where we don't really plan anything, but so sometimes things happen simultaneously. So you don't know. We talk about, if I come up with a great song and play it for Rick and Gil, or Rick does, or Gil does, come up with some material. We talk about, if there's something we really like and think we can do a reasonable job at it, we could always go back in the studio and play, put a song together, make a good recording. But as far as going on the road, that's a really tough road to hoe for us. Three-piece band, we're getting a little older. We all have injuries of some kind. So playing, an extended tour would not be in the cards. But perhaps, on a special occasion, we might show up and play a few songs.
Perfect. And if you could go back in time, what would you change?
Oh, that's 20/20 hindsight. I don't believe in that. What I would change is that I didn't get older. But there's no way. I wouldn't change anything. Even the mistakes we made and whatever happened that was bad, the good by far outweighed the bad. And I think we had, as Triumph, we had a great career. We made a lot of people happy with our music, and really, I wouldn't change a thing.
Is there something that you would like to do, but you haven't done yet in the music?
In the music business, musically, not really. I mean, I think Triumph was a unique band in that we kind of, were responsible for our own career. And we had managers briefly, and then that didn't work out very well. So we just ran it ourselves. So we got to play. I got to produce the band. I was the producer of the records, and Rick and Gil did most of the writing, and we ran our own tours and worried about whether we're making money or losing money sometimes, and. So it was like I'll call it cottage industry for us as a band. So kind of it was when Triumph stopped playing, it became like, okay, that particular phase of life is over, and let's just move on and do whatever it is that everybody wants to do. And seemed like it never really occurred to me that, I got to keep playing, or I should have another band, or I should manage bands, or those kinds of things. I got tons of offers to do that kind of stuff, but it just, after Triumph, it was, to get your hands dirty and put some elbow grease into a project. I don't think I could have done a very good job at it because I had already done it once. There's an old expression: you never want to push the tour bus out of the snow in Minneapolis more than one time.
Is there a story or something you would like to share with us of the years, all these years you were in this top in music?
Well, not necessarily a story, but some advice for people that may be listening to this interview and going, I'm in a band, or I'm a songwriter, or I play guitar in my basement for my little brother. That's a very, very difficult environment to succeed in, as most things are. But music business is extremely difficult. And I always said, don't quit your day job. And if you really want to be successful, it's kind of like you got to stay in the game. It's like going to Las Vegas or to a casino. But as soon as you pick up your chips and walk away, you have no chance to be lucky. And luck is such a huge part of success in the music business. So you got to stay at the table, keep gambling, make yourself a better musician, make yourself a better songwriter, and take your chances. But keep that day job around just in case.
a really useful advice in new beginners in music industry. Mike, what other band are you listening in this time around?
I have a lot of difficulty um, getting into some of the newer music. It's been a struggle for me to find anything that I really like. So I've been going back into the past and
Me too.
listening to everything like Bob Marley, Eagles, Journey, Elvis Presley, for crying out loud. Sam and Dave, old R&B stuff, and I'm really enjoying that because it was so far. I grew up with that music, and I'm revisiting it, and it's so much fun. It's amazing how you can actually remember the words from songs you listened to in the 60s. It's like, I can't remember what happened yesterday, but I can remember the words to all those songs when you were growing up. So it's kind of the soundtrack of your life is what I call it. And, we were Triumph. We were the soundtrack of a lot of people's lives as well, and I'll be forever proud of that.
And what would you like to say to your Greek fans?
My Greek fans, well, I'm part Greek, so
Really?
I'll say my mother's, my grandfather grew up in Greece.
Oh, really? Where?
Yeah, yeah, outside of Athens. I can't remember the name of the village. It's like one of those things that always slips my mind. I think it begins with a V, but I never got to visit. But yeah, he was. So I'm like 1/4 Greek, I think. So my mother's maiden name was Georgakopoulos.
Oh, it's a Greek name.
For sure.
Absolutely Greek name.
But my Greek friends, you're my brothers because I got some Greek blood in me, and I know from the past experience that we have a lot of really great fans over in Greece, and we get a lot of emails and stuff. So, God bless everybody, and thanks for your support.
Mike, thank you very, very much. I wish you all the best. We are waiting to hear news from you, from your band, from Triumph, and I hope you have a very good time.
Okay, well, thank you, and you too, and stay safe.
You too.